This George Santos guy, he's just DeSantos. I keep calling him DeSantos. Uh, George Santos, quite the interesting character. Apparently, he was a drag queen named Katara Ravachi. Went by the name Anthony DeValder. Yeah, this guy's it's insane. It's freaking insane. What are you guys all up to? What is it? Wednesday, Hump Day? All right. Hope everybody had a good day. Most everybody should be having dinner or finishing up dinner. Oh man, what is going on in DC is insane, my friends. It is insane. Why my glasses look crooked? I might have bent my frame. Um, so where's everybody from tonight? And is this your first time watching one of my lives? What is this? Car insurance. I'm getting stupid emails for car warranties now. I don't want it. Not enough that they used to get my phone. Now they're sending me emails. So have you guys been following this George Santos thing? Man, excuse me, at all? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Priscilla. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't know, that and the committee assignments just have me kind of spun up. What do I think about Lisa Marie? It was sad. Thank you for stopping by, Priscilla. I don't know if I haven't looked today, so I don't know if any new information came out or whatever. I know last I looked, they were waiting on, wow, why is my brain all of a sudden not working? Not pathology. They're waiting to see what substances she had in her system to come back. I don't know why I can't think of the word right now. It kind of upset me to see some of the Republicans out there pushing their COVID vaccine nonsense with relation to her, especially when we have literally very little information, especially at that point. So that kind of ticked me off a little bit. I'm just getting really tired of these people setting their rhetoric soapboxes up on people's caskets. It's, especially so quickly. It was just pretty disgusting. Not that I've come to expect anything less from these people, but, she lost her son to suicide. And I think any parent out there would tell you that, we aren't supposed to bury our kids. Parents aren't supposed to bury their kids. That's a pain that parents just aren't supposed to feel. And I think that combined with some other stuff, she was dealing with personal issues, grief, especially if you've already had issues with substances. Grief will make you go down some dark places, or go back to places you've already been. Political soapboxes on coffins happen on both sides in reference to COVID. Depends on what you're talking about, because I think you're trying to talk about everybody saying, wow, there's this many deaths. We need to pay attention to this. That's not setting your soapbox up, but saying that Lisa Marie died of, she went into a cardiac arrest, it might have been because of the COVID shot. That's setting your political soapbox up on somebody's coffin when you have no data whatsoever to back up said statement. It's stupid. And no, they're not comparable. Those two things are not comparable. Completely different. Next. Hey guys, if you're in here, don't forget to hit that like button. That helps more people come in. And then more people that are in here, the better the conversation gets. No more of a, if you would have gotten the vaccine, you would have lived, and you died to the vax? No, I don't agree with that either. Both are improvable. No, that's not factual either. You're just going to spread dumb shit, aren't you? Oh yeah, one follower. Yeah, we're good. Peace. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Man, up to 149 already. Look at that. So, you guys, I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm kind of interested in this whole George Santos thing. I literally can't believe it. Monique, what's going on? Um, hey, John, what's going on? Thank you guys for all stopping in. Like I said, the more people that are in here, better conversation gets. So, oh my God, how did this guy get elected? And more importantly, why did they let him get sworn into Congress? Why are they putting him on committees? Like, if the Republicans were worth anything, if they had any integrity, they would be like, you know what, dude? Like, you got elected. Hey, Queenie, you got elected like by lying about everything. Your job experience, who you are, your name. Like, this isn't just somebody who was like, oh yeah, I worked here from so and so, or said they had a job that wasn't technically their job. Just like, this isn't no big deal. This guy's literally lied about everything. And if you haven't heard, he stole $3,000 from a couple of veterans that were raising money through GoFundMe to pay for their service dog, and he didn't give them the money. Like, I've got the text messages. And by the way, he's barely literate. But I know that I'm kind of giggling and laughing, but this isn't really funny. This is a legit con man who's now sitting in Congress and who's been accused of Ponzi schemes and is now sitting on the Small Business Committee and, was drag queen, which there's nothing wrong with him being a drag queen. It's that his platform is the complete opposite of that lifestyle. And he doesn't seem to support that now. So it's like, I don't know. There's just so much. Yeah, it does sound like, it sucks, but yeah, it sounds like a typical Republican. Does it? Or imagine being the person that lost to Santos. But here's the thing, man. We all vote for somebody hoping that they're telling the truth about most of the stuff, at least, and that they're going to deliver on some of their campaign talking points, promises, whatever you want to call them. So it's like, I don't blame people for voting for him because they voted for what he presented. They voted for the picture that he painted for him. The problem is that when it started coming out that picture he painted was a fraud, nobody stepped up and did anything before it was too late. Now this guy's sworn in, and it takes an act of Congress to get rid of him. Hey, Mermaid, Mama Maggie. How you doing, my friend? Your videos lately have been fire, by the way. If you're in here and you don't follow my friend Maggie there, you need to go follow Mermaid Mama Maggie. She does awesome political videos, but they're comedic, so it's not like my rants. It's more funny. Little sugar to go with to go with my stuff. But no, it's just really frustrating. And for me, I know it's frustrating for all liberals and Democrats and Americans that give a shit. But just as a veteran, personally, on my personal level, it angers me that much more because it's like, man, I gave a lot to this freaking country, and so has my wife. My whole family has. And hey, from Australia, hey Chris, to see what the direction our country has taken just in the last 16, 17 years since I joined, it's just really disheartening. It's really disheartening. I think that's awesome. You got people from Australia. That's what's so cool about, doing this. You get on these lives, you meet people from all over that you never would have talked to, you never would have heard from, perspectives you never would have gotten had you not, been on here and had this conversation. And for people like me who are aspiring to get into politics, it helps me because the more I talk to people from all over, the more perspectives I get. That makes me a better leader. That makes me a better servant. And that's the goal. We need I don't care what's, I mean, I do care, but really at the end of the day, I don't care what side of the aisle you are. What I care about is, are you telling the truth and are you trying to represent the people? And the problem with the Republican Party and most conservatives right now is the only agenda they truly have is owning the libs. Like, they literally refuse to give Democrats a win, and they will push back against legislation that would actually be positive for their constituents, but they won't do it because it would be giving the Democrats a win. We need to get back to more bipartisan legislation, and I wish I had the answer of how we were going to get there, because unfortunately right now I personally feel like the divide is only getting bigger, meaning that the fighting's only going to get worse, before it gets better. So, like I said, I wish I could say, hey, I've got the solution for this, but I don't. I hope that with what's going on right now in the House, that more Americans are paying attention. And I'm starting to use Americans more because even though I'm a Democrat and a liberal, if I'm elected to office, I'm representing everybody in my district. Not just the liberals, not just the Democrats. You may have been elected by Democrats, but you're still representing everybody. And that's what I want to try to get more politicians, especially the younger folks that are getting it, already getting in the system and running, just represent the people. I know, we got to play this party politics game until, enough people get tired of it and we actually change the system. But we can play the game and still do what's best. I turned all my stove gas jets on, my house blew up, but I own the libs. I did a video about that. I have a gas stove. I literally hate electric ovens. And I know they've gotten better, probably since the one I had, but no, the Republicans don't think like that. And that's what the big difference is between, I really honestly do consider myself a moderate. I check off a lot of boxes that, I drive a big red F-150. I own firearms. I'm a veteran. Like, on paper, I look like a typical Republican. But at the end of the day, like I said, we just need to represent the people. When I went in to join the military, I wasn't fighting for the rights of liberals. I was fighting for the rights of Americans. And we need to get back to a place where public servants remember who the heck they work for. They work for us. And right now, it's like, I feel like we work for them. As crazy as that sounds. Sad to see what's happening in your country. It is, Chris. I mean, I can't even imagine what people like you, you're in Australia, what you guys see, how bad it really is. I get people from the UK messaging me and a couple other places, but yeah, it's really sad that other countries are looking at us and, going, wow, they've lost their gourd here. Air Force veteran here. Thanks for your service, Ryan. Thanks for your service, John. Appreciate it. I mean, how do you feel as a veteran watching all this go down? I think these committee assignments really blew my mind. It really did. Did somebody's? Oh, okay. That's different. Sorry, I haven't been on live for a while, so I'm trying to they have some new things that I'm not used to. Do you do guests, Ryan? Only guests that I know. Sorry, man. Yeah, it's I got my original account taken away over something stupid, and then I have a stalker now because I did a 15-minute live with them, and it's been 10 months. So yeah, Well, I mean, there are a lot of people on here, like creators and stuff, that we talk offline. So yeah, like I said, man, I've had some experiences that I don't go live unless I know the person. Sorry. Muscles, and I'm curious what happened. Oh, so so yeah, there's this woman named Shauna Johnson. Her original account was Team Good Guy. Uh, Very, very, very long story short, there's like three or four of us that, I mean, she's attacked way more than that, but in my little group, there's like no, hang on, five, six, there's six, seven of us actually that she went after, but mainly there are like three or four of us that she just, it's like a dog with a bone, she won't let go. Uh, Long story short, she ended up saying that two other creators on here were like attacking her. And when I accepted the live, and this was 10 months ago, I accepted the live because I knew of her. She was a liberal creator back in like 2020. And oh, thank you to my moderators. You guys are awesome. So I get on this live with her for like 15 minutes, and she fairly quickly goes into, oh, so these two people have been harassing me, and they're other creators that I know on here. And I was like, okay, well, I know nothing about it, so I can't really talk about it because I don't know what's going on. And she kind of kept going, and finally I was like, well, I'm going to jump off, and I got off altogether. And she started direct messaging me on Twitter and like sending me out of context videos and screenshots of conversations, and ended up her like telling me she's disappointed that I'm supporting these guys. And oh my lord, it was insanity. And so if you go on my page, the three pinned videos, that's the woman. That's what this is all about. She ended up calling a campaign that I was volunteering for, and I ended up having to leave the campaign because I'd become a liability to the candidate. Luckily, she still won. Yeah, she's a complete nut job. I didn't know she used to make liberal content. Yeah, that was why I went on the live with her, because she knew, she was like a liberal creator and she did a lot of good content in the very beginning. And then somehow she just went off into right field. Yeah, Muscles is cool. I don't remember how Muscles got dragged into it. I think he got dragged into it fairly recently. I don't think she's been going at him for the full, 10, 12 months, but the Q's got her. I really, Twitter people are different. Well, no, this was here. George Soros or George Santos. What? I don't even know what you're trying to say. Just on here to correct the... Oh, yeah, here. She paired up with Muscle Stalker. Yeah, they're... well, I'm just going to say, because he's public about it. John Scott is one of the main guys and he has a 5-year protective order against her now. A judge gave him a 5-year protective order against this crazy woman. So he has screenshots of her reaching out to some, like, I think he's like some white supremacist, or no, somebody who had charges against him, I think for domestic violence or something. And literally in the message she sent in the comment, because it was a public comment she made, she's like, do you still have those charges pending against you? We should team up. Like, she would team up with anybody to try, if she thought it was going to take any of us down. It's I don't know, it's insane. Watching her like implode has been sad, honestly. That's the other thing. She's like, oh, he says he wants me to hurt myself. And I'm like, lady, the only thing I've ever said is I want you to go get help. Like, coming from somebody who, Brian Carlson, domestic violence and stalking charges. Yes, thank you, Jen. But it's just like, people just want you to leave us alone and go get help. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. I've never called in a welfare check, and honestly, it's not because I don't think that there were times where she needed one, if I'm being 100% honest with you. The only reason I didn't was because I have my kids, and my wife is black, my kids are black, and I don't need people calling welfare checks in on my family for no reason, because somebody perceives a video I did online, that I'm unstable, or just for shits and kicks. I don't want people to be able to say, well, he's called welfare checks in on people. I mean, if I thought somebody was like suicidal or something, or I really thought somebody was, needed a welfare check, then I would. But, this woman just, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. Apparently Blake Masters is considering running for Senate again. Well, of course he is, because he was milking people for money. He'll keep running, even if he loses. Tommy was, well, that's how her, Tommy and John was how she came at me. And the kicker was, I didn't talk to John Scott offline. Like, we were mutuals, and we would comment on each other's videos every now and again, but we had never had a direct one-on-one conversation until Shauna. The minute she started coming at me, a matter of fact, somebody had reached out to John and said, hey, Ryan was just on a live with her. And I got a message from several people within an hour of going on that live. I'm not kidding. Within an hour of going on that live, I got a text message from somebody who's known me for 20 plus years, who knows me on TikTok. And she texted me, was like, stay away from her. John sent me a direct message. It was like, hey man, stay away from her, dude. Like, you don't want to get involved in this. And it was like, all these people were warning me, and as they're warning me, she's DMing me, hey JD Khan, what's going on? Thanks, brother. But as John's warning me, she's DMing me all these messages on Twitter. And it was like I was already sucked in. Literally, I told her, I don't want anything to do with this. Mainly because the last time I had taken a side with anything going on TikTok, it backfired. I lost a bunch of followers. There were creators that didn't want to talk to me or unfollowed me because of it. It was just really frustrating. So I just was like, hey man, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't know any, you're sending me stuff out of context. I know of these guys online. I don't see them going around doing anything that anybody else isn't doing. So I was like, I just don't want anything to do with it. And she dragged me into it anyway. Like I said, go listen to the video. The one of the voicemail, that's a voicemail that she left the political candidate that I was volunteering for. Like, I had to leave the campaign that day because she's calling the Democratic Party. She's calling the local Democratic Party here. She called them. She called the candidate. It was insane. It was insane. So I had to leave the campaign because I'd become a liability. And what upset me the most about that was I wasn't getting paid. I had made a deal with the candidate that if she made me her media manager, that I would do it for free so that I could say that I managed a campaign. So that I could say, I would have that experience. And anybody that's been out in a job, knows that, you can read a book, but really the best training you get is on the job training. And being in a campaign, I knew it would help me not only figure out better ways to run my next campaign, but also make a lot of connections with people here in Arizona that I needed to make, because I would have been right alongside Nancy everywhere she went. I would have been right there with her, meeting everybody she met, talking, or at least being there with her while she talked to everybody. And people remember that. So it was like a big opportunity cost that I had to pay. because this woman, for no freaking reason, like, that's my thing too. I can admit when I've stepped in it, and I can be like, okay, like, I see why that went the direction it went, and it sucks, and you know, you apologize and you try to do the best you can, whatever. This is one of those times that I legit did nothing wrong. Like, I still don't know how I got dragged into it. All I know is all the ridiculous stuff the ridiculous stuff I've had to pay or deal with, and what it's cost me. Hey, sweet Kathy. And again, I'm not the only one. You know, there's several people on here that can say the same thing. So, you know, it's really unfortunate that she's been allowed to continue doing this. You know, like I said, John went and got a 5-year restraining order, and she's already violated it. Who knows how many times? More than 10. And it's like nothing happens. So even when somebody spends the time, resources, and everything to go get a 5-year restraining order, it doesn't do anything. So what's the point? Like, what's the point to go get all that stuff done if when they break the restraining order and you call and you say, hey, she's still making videos, they're like, and then she does a video joking around and laughing that the cops called her. She thought it was hilarious. And she thought she owned them. Like, she is completely unstable. So it's like, okay, going through the legal system, that don't work. So what are we supposed to do? Like, just let her keep attacking our lives, attacking the people around us for no reason? She's writing a book. She's releasing chapters on Amazon. It's insane. Actually, protection. Yeah, you know, and I mean, the crazy thing is, Justine, I never would have known that had I not gone through this. You know, I guess, I don't know, with that naiveness, or I guess I'll call it naive. You know, you think, oh, just go to court and get a protection order. It's like, yeah, but what the hell is a protection order going to do? Especially if they can't really enforce it. You know, so yeah, that's a really good point that I don't know. I guess I hadn't even really thought about it quite like that until you said it. Everything she does is unhinged. You know, the crazy part is she has one page with like thousands of followers, and she manages to like do her makeup up and do somewhat normal videos on that page. So it's like, can you control this and you're just doing it on purpose? Because like I kind of made the assumption it was either mental health or she's drinking or something. You know, of course I don't know for sure because it's all assumptions, but it is weird to see her be able to kind of turn it on and off sometimes. That's like would it be a sociopath? I think sociopath would be the right word. No, Justine, that's fine. I'm glad you said that. Like I said, it's sometimes comments like that, you know, just help me connect a dot that I wasn't really connecting before. You know, and luckily I've never been sexually abused or, you know, or needed to go get a restraining order or anything like that. So I didn't really know that until now. Borderline personality, maybe, you know, could be, like it could be so many things. It just feels like whoever her family is enabling her by not doing anything about it. Like, she was literally accusing people of murder that didn't do it. Not only did they not do it, they didn't have anything to do with it. And I think one woman lost her job over it. So it's just, yeah, it's just crazy. Oh, she's definitely a narcissist because she doesn't ever do anything wrong. It's everybody else. It's everybody else. Like I said, the way that she's managed to in her mind, think that I've done anything to her, that's, yeah, like, crazy. All right, so real quick, you guys got anything you want to ask me or talk about before I jump off? Because I'm going to go get some food. I wanted to jump on real quick to say hi to everybody because I'm trying to get better about doing my lives again. And I'm trying to get my last couple videos to take off and hoping that this helps the algorithm a little bit. So please go check out my last videos and just hit that like button. I'm also looking for tickets to F1 in Vegas. They're coming to Vegas. So I'm hoping that I can find some somewhat reasonable tickets to go see them. Thank you, Monique. I don't know. I keep getting banned on certain things and shadow banned and stuff. And for a while, it's like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of coming on here? But then I come on here and I talk to you guys and I see that everybody's still here and people missed me. So I'll try to get better. I'm definitely doing better with the videos. It helps that I've been locked out of Twitter. I hate Elon. And then I did music. I had Sade playing in the live I did the other day, and I put it on YouTube, and they took it down like instantly for copyright. I wasn't even thinking. Like, shouldn't that fall under fair use though? Like, it's just playing in the background. It's not like I'm using it to, I don't know. Everybody knows who Sade is. Yeah, I don't know. You know, we've got, our government is in, the House is definitely in some trouble. We'll see. Now's the time for Democrats to start saying if they're going to be running for president or not. So it'll be interesting to see if Biden's going to run again and if anybody will challenge him if he does, and if he doesn't, who's going to be the heir apparent? Because I don't think it'd be Kamala, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's like, who else? The speaker nomination was a huge circus. It was embarrassing. And now we're seeing what he had to give up to get those votes. And holy crap. Like Boebert, Green, and Paul Gosar, all three are on over the, what is it, the House Oversight Committee. So they're literally overseeing what goes. Are you kidding me? Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene asked for a pardon. Paul Gosar asked for a pardon related to January 6th. And they're on oversight, they're on committees? Like, not Lauren Boebert. Marjorie Taylor Greene is on Homeland Security? Are you fucking kidding me? And we're just sitting back, letting this happen, just letting it all happen, and this is again where, you know, I'm an equal opportunity hater. I feel like the Democrats, we really dropped the ball here, because if we had held these people accountable a year ago, we wouldn't be having this fucking discussion. We really wouldn't. Like, these people would not be in Congress. They'd either be in jail or at least not eligible for public office. Trump wouldn't be eligible for public office. Marjorie Taylor Greene wouldn't have been, if they would have followed through with her when they sued her and everything, she wouldn't have been eligible to run again. But of course, Georgia hates black people more than they hate domestic terrorists. So yeah, she won by a landslide. It's just crazy. It's really hard for me not to look at our party and go, what the fuck? You could have stopped this. You could have prevented this. And by the way, how quick were they able to assign a special prosecutor to the Biden shit? Like, days. It took them a day or two to have. Yeah, I don't know, guys. We're pretty fucked. Marcus Flowers, I've gotten to speak with him. I had him on my podcast. I spoke with his team quite a bit. He would have been a great representative. He would have been far better than Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, again, you have a veteran who's done time overseas running for office against a domestic terrorist, and they pick the domestic terrorist. That's pretty messed up. I like Marcus. I don't know. I hope he finds another way in. I hope he doesn't give up. Oh, I'm with you, Monique. I'm done. Like, the Democratic Party here in my county calls me a problem. They call me a problem because of the way that I go about things. And it's like, do you all realize that the way you're going about it is why we're fucked? That's why I'm doing things. That's why I'm out here saying the things I'm saying. That's why we're going about it the way we're going about it. Because this whole, when they go low, we go high, that shit doesn't even work. And it worked back then, especially for Obama, Michelle, and Barack, because they were the first black family. So they had to be perfect. So that mentality was almost a necessity for them. Because if they started playing the dirty game, they would have been looked at much differently, and they knew it. They could not play. If Barack Obama said the stuff that Trump says, would he have ever been president? Nope. You know it. I know it. And they knew it. But now, the way the party is, even Michelle Obama said it. She's like, yeah, that doesn't, the whole go high isn't necessarily working. And it's not going to work in this current climate. We need to get in the dirt with them. And the way I equate it to people is, veterans, we know what war is like. You know, even if you didn't go into the sandbox, you still are trained for this kind of shit. And you just kind of learn that sometimes you have to do things that you wouldn't normally do. Or, yeah, I'll just kind of leave it at that. Sometimes when you're in the military or you're in a war zone, you end up having to do things that you wouldn't normally do to get home or to achieve the goal or to finish the mission, whatever it is. And I feel like that's the mentality that we need liberals and Democrats to have from here on out, is whether we want it to be or not, we are in the middle of a war for our country. And it's the Democrats versus the Republicans, because that's just the way it is. That's our political system. We can argue about it all day, but that's the way it currently is. So that's the war that's going on. And Democrats need to realize, they need to look at what just happened in the House and say, we cannot allow this to happen again. We cannot allow a Republican to become president when that's not what the majority of Americans wanted. Okay? Yeah, I'm ready to get dirty. I hope that I can get people in my district behind me so I can get in office, because I will fuck these people up and I'll sleep just fine at night. And that's what needs to happen. We need more Democrats that are going to be like, you know what? This is how we're going to do it. And it's about achieving the goal. That's it. Because once we take the power and it's not just a slim majority, we can fix a lot of this shit so that the minority aren't able to take power again. Not so jaded Jade. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, when it's time, I'm going to need everybody's help. Raising money. I learned that the first go around. It's all about how much money you can raise. That's like the first question anybody asks you. Like when I was looking for an advisor, campaign manager, it's like, well, how much money can you raise? I'm like, I don't know until I try. And I was starting to raise a decent amount every day. I was raising almost $1,000 a day, just off doing lives and stuff. But then I got banned. I had 250,000 followers, and then they banned me. And it was right in the middle of my campaign. So it was like all of a sudden my fundraising almost dried up overnight. So that sucked. So yeah, I'm going to have a much better plan. And before I pull the trigger, I'm going to have a team of people. So I'll be asking for help. I think the issue is a lot of Dems are still corporate owned. Absolutely. I think that goes back to, what's up, Miranda? It kind of goes back to playing the game, right? Hey, Sacred Earth Candles. It takes money to win campaigns. So it's like the way I was explaining it to my friend, I said, I think as Democrats, we just need to be able to say, yeah, I took money from so-and-so, but here's why. So as a liberal who thinks that we need to start transitioning to more clean energy and solar and stuff like that, am I going to take money from big oil and stuff? Probably not. I'm going to probably go look to fundraise off of, solar companies and, that type of thing. So it's more about who do you take your money from? What corporations are you taking your money from? And so I've kind of started looking at it that way. And to be honest with you, it's because you kind of have to. When you're raising money, you just kind of have to be like, okay, who am I willing to take money from? Who am I willing to go beg for money from? That's really campaigning 101 for you. Or come from money and don't understand their constituents' real lives. Exactly. And you can always tell the candidates who fund themselves, because you can go look it up. And you can tell the ones who have like 5 or 10, huge donors, because it'll be like, oh, they've got 30 donations, but the donations were for 5,000 apiece. You shouldn't have to, though. That's the problem. Well, that is the problem. The problem the fact that running a campaign is all about money is a huge part of the problem with our political system. Absolutely. It's frustrating, to be honest. I got really frustrated because it's like, who's really good at begging people for money? Con artists. I'm not a good con artist. But if you want to sit down and talk about, hey, Corner, what's going on, man? If you want to sit down and talk about stuff and have an honest conversation, and if at the end of that conversation you want to give me money for my campaign, awesome. But the reason that George Santos and those type of people and Donald Trump do well in politics is because they're con artists and they're good at what they do. That isn't my thing. I put myself out there. There isn't anything that you're going to find about me that I won't tell you myself. And that's the difference between me and a con artist. A con artist is never going to tell you anything about themselves, or very minimal about themselves. I'm just sitting up waiting on a loadout. Oh, nice. Is it cold there? It's freezing here. I've gotten soft, though. I grew up in Michigan, and I used to laugh. Say, man, if I lived somewhere like Arizona, I'd be wearing shorts year round. Nope. Now it's like, whew, it's 50. That's a little chilly. That's spring back in Michigan. So what's bothering you guys? What's on your mind? Amy Coney Barrett, what did she do now? Amy Coney Barrett is a member of the People of Praise, a secretive Christian faith group that adheres strictly to the Bible. The central teaching for females is that women's obedience and subservience to men is essential. Not my wife. I am from Indiana and my blood has thinned out a bit living here for sure. I'm so sick of that one. Yeah, me too. Can you give me your take on Brittany Griner? What do you mean, Queenie? I don't know. I'm glad she's home. Hey, Koala. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what take. Well, the kicker is that they've gotten a couple of people back since then. They got another soldier out, but of course, the news didn't report about it or anything. Very minimal in comparison. But yeah. Funny thing is, the dude, what the Merchant of Death or whatever, he got back to Russia and they tried getting him to volunteer to go on the front lines, and he said no. And I think that's we have an American home period too, actually. Well, and that's my thing is I did get a little frustrated at people were so willing to leave Brittany in Russia. And it's like, so no American Left Behind only applies to certain people? Just voted on my last bill for the New Hampshire State House for expanded mental health in schools. Awesome. Did you get elected? The best rhyme. I don't know about that. I think you might be right up there with me. What's going on, Manifested? Because she's what? Oh, because she's gay and yeah. I think that had something to do with it. Oh, you were talking. I love it. You're like, I was talking about myself. I think the fact that she, that she's, married to a woman probably played a part in some people's disapproval of the trade. Like I said, there's always going to be people that have something to say about it. I like what I think it was Monique that said it. We got a couple of Americans home, and the kicker is, those people bitch, moan, and complaining. I wonder if they complained when Trump released all those terrorists, or if they were fine with it back then. 4 votes separated me between a libertarian. Wow. Well, good job. Congratulations. Yeah, I might actually run for school board here in Tucson. I'm just trying to find where I can get my foot in the door. But it's, besides, it looks like the school boards is where the fun's had anyway. I shouldn't laugh because I feel bad for some of the school board members, because some of that stuff's it's just uncalled for. I hear my children going, food. All right, guys, I think I'm going to jump off. But thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll definitely be on Friday at some point. But yeah, Trump released what was it, 5,000? I don't remember the number, but I know it was pretty good. Yeah, Monique, Queenie, my moderators, thank you so much. I love you to death and always appreciate you coming in here and keeping things respectful while I talk. I really do appreciate my moderators. So thank you, love you, and I'll talk to you guys soon.